Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now June 4th of 2021. Now, one thing about the future of the Star Wars franchise that a lot of fans are very curious about is, of course, whether or not Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are really going to be able to pull things off when they bring in tons of Star Wars Legends material that are really going to be mixed in with the new. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. And also make sure to check me out at Mike01 on Twitter if you guys would like to. Now, moving into, of course, what's happening with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, as well as George Lucas. They're all working together as a team to really deliver something quite special for the Star Wars fandom. We obviously know that from this point on forward, a lot of great things are happening when it comes to the Star Wars franchise. We've got the Book of Boba Fett. Right now, we've got The Bad Batch, which, by the way, is amazing. I do suggest that you guys go ahead and check that out if you haven't. If you have not seen The Clone Wars, I do suggest that you guys go ahead and watch, at the very minimum, Season 7, to kind of get invested with that show to see how it really, connects to everything. But I digress. What really is all the more intriguing has everything to do with Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy and exactly what's been happening behind the scenes over at Lucasfilm when it comes to Star Wars. Now, we obviously know that everything related to Star Wars right now has been quite a bit of a mess. I mean, let's just be honest here, is that they divided the fandom. It was Kathleen Kennedy who wrecked the sequel trilogy, unfortunately. But, guys, I'm always optimistic about the future. I'm always a hopeful person when it comes to, everything related to a franchise that's currently failing and how it could be saved. I will admit that the only franchise that I've really never had any faith in anymore was the Terminator franchise after T3. After everything, it just failed. But this is a different story because we have Jon, Dave, and George really trying to bring things up. So, given that both Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are actively developing shows like The Mandalorian and Ahsoka, they are also beginning to work on yet-to-be-announced TV shows that will be revealed during this November or December. Now, it's described that currently Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy is getting ready to quit from Star Wars and Lucasfilm as a whole, and is described to have a big plan set in place already for 2022. Further, it's described that Kathleen Kennedy is expected to leave Lucasfilm by early to mid-22, as Kathleen Kennedy is beginning to work on her own production company that is set to actually be announced at the turn of the new year that will go into effect in mid-22. Kennedy is described to be way too overwhelmed with the Acolyte series with Leslie Headland, and is said to have many doubts about the new TV series. Further, it's described that Kathleen Kennedy is getting ready to fire more writers for the Acolyte series, and these co-writers are falling into more creative differences for the new show, and that she is looking into director Rian Johnson to actually become a co-writer for one of the episodes of The Acolyte in order to give him another shot at Star Wars. Additionally, Kathleen Kennedy is said to be preparing a major announcement of her departure from Lucasfilm by January of 22 in order to give fans and new fans a heads up of what's going on with her new direction, or her direction in the film industry. Kennedy is not expected, of course, to stay with her new production company for a very long time, however, and is planning to only oversee it for the first 2 years before finally retiring from Hollywood. Given that Kennedy is 67 years old, she is looking into stepping away from Hollywood generally speaking before 2025. This is a major plan by Kennedy that is going to be crucial to some of the Lucasfilm employees, as some are going to be given their chance to be transferred to her new production that is currently dubbed as Starlight Pictures. Kennedy has even been in the talks with director Rian Johnson to work on a movie of hers with her new production company in the near future. Let me just stop right here for 1 second, because this is a very interesting development about Rian Johnson, alright? Now, Rian Johnson is already working on what he is calling his murder mystery universe. And he's developing a Knives Out sequel. He wants to eventually do a Knives Out 3. He wants to also do spin-offs to those movies. I mean, he's creating his own murder mystery universe, and hey, that's fine, do your thing. Some people like Knives Out. I, however, was not the biggest fan of it. I actually was quite surprised that I even checked it out. but it was a friend of mine that really, you know, kind of pressured me to go ahead and watch that movie, and I just wasn't really feeling it. It just didn't feel right to me. I know that Rian Johnson was not fit for Star Wars, and that was absolutely terrible, absolutely horrible. But I will say one thing is that Rian is best suited for his own work, for just his own type of movies, and it kind of just works for him, but it does not work well with Star Wars. So I would say that if it were Rian Johnson, he would be very smart if he were to say, you know what, I didn't do well with The Last Jedi, it got bad reception, I'm not even going to consider making another movie with, you know, or should I say another TV show or anything Star Wars related, I should say, with Lucasfilm. The fact that Kathleen and Rian are already discussing of Rian writing an episode or two, or maybe even more than that for the Acolyte series, it's a big deal. And it's going to make the show fail even all the more so if Rian is indeed going to be involved. Honestly, guys, you know, like I say, Rian Johnson, you know, for what it's worth, when we look at The Last Jedi, it's a thing of the past, it's done. You know, Rian Johnson, I feel, should just not come back to Star Wars at all. So, the other thing is this, is that the fact that Kathleen Kennedy is going to make a major announcement about her new production company by, of course, January of 2022. Next year is going to be very interesting about this new company, currently dubbed as Starlight Pictures, alright? Makes you wonder, alright, why is it called Starlight Pictures? Is that just because random? Or is it going to be a production company that has something to do with science fiction or something around those lines? Of course, it could have no meaning at all, but to me it sounds like that Kathleen Kennedy is trying to develop cinematic features or TV shows that are going to be more in line with science fiction. That's my assumption. We still have pretty much little to no details about Kennedy's true intention of what her company is going to be geared towards. So like I've said before, I think that Kathleen Kennedy knows that the fans do not like her, that the fans do not accept her direction of Star Wars, and she's beginning to realize that fans are already accepting Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni's direction a whole lot more than Kathleen Kennedy's direction for Star Wars overall. So like I've said, guys, you know, let me know what you think about this entire situation below in the comments between Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, the future of Star Wars, and what's going on with Kathleen Kennedy and her plan to step away from Lucasfilm and Star Wars as a whole by 2022. Let me know what you think about all of that below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.